students, Dr. Bans here. Let us look at how we can solve these expressions using Fourier transforms. So we are supposed to find the Fourier transforms for each of these expressions. Let's see how we can deal with it. All right. So let's start with I. So in I, we have I, x of what? T is equals to E3T U of T. Okay. In this expression, what it means is that U of T is a unit step signal. Okay, so U of T is unit step, has a magnitude of 1. Okay, and then what it also means is that T is actually 0. That means that our signal is starting from 0 and then it is going toward infinity. So this is the meaning of this particular expression. So now here we have Fourier transform of E3 what? T U of what? T, which is basically equals to Fourier transform, okay, for E3 what? T. Alright, so we're going to find this one. So if you're going to find this one, from what we know, it's going to start from 0 and then going to end at infinity. Okay, and we're going to have E3T, okay, because U of T is 1 and then it doesn't change anything here. And then we have to be able to, before any signal can have a Fourier transform, that signal should have a definite integral. The integral of that signal should be less than what? Infinity. So the signal should be less than infinity to satisfy the Dirichlet condition. All right, the Dirichlet condition. Okay, to satisfy the Dirichlet condition. So now here, what we can do is that if we should integrate this one, we're going to have 1 over 3, okay, into E, okay, 3t into what? 0 to what? Infinity. Okay, so we're going to have 1 over 3 into what? E, 3 into what? Infinity minus what? E3 into what? 0. Okay, which is equals to what? 1 over 3 into what? E exponent what? Infinity minus E exponent what? 0. Okay, which is equals to 1 over 3. E exponent infinity is infinity. And then E exponent 0 is 1. Okay, so basically this is equals to what? Infinity. So this, if it's equals to infinity, then it is not equals to this one. It's not satisfying this rule. So in this case, does not satisfy Dirichlet condition. Okay, so if it does not satisfy the Dirichlet condition, then what it means is that its Fourier transform does not exist. Okay, hence Fourier transform, okay, of E exponent 3t U of what? T does not exist. All right. Okay, so that is how you can actually finish this question. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right. Okay, so in the next one, what I have in the next one is that I have II. Okay, I need a Fourier transform for delta of t plus 1 into delta of t minus 1. Okay, so now here, what happens is that if you need a Fourier transform for this one, you see, if you have a signal as delta of what? T plus 1, what it actually means is that t is equals to what? Minus 1. Okay, thus the signal exists at what? At t equals what? Minus 1. Okay, so it's an impulse signal. This is an impulse signal. Okay, so impulse signal, and then it exists as what? -1. So if you want the Fourier transform, so the Fourier transform here of, let's say, Fourier transform for this one is going for this one, delta of t plus what? 1. Okay, is going to be here minus infinity, and then what? Infinity e exponent what? Minus j omega what? T. But t exists at what? -1. So I'll put -1 at where t is. Okay, and then the infinity here doesn't really come into consideration here, because it's a unit impulse signal. Unit impulse means that it occurs at a specific instance. It does not occur within an interval for us to integrate. Okay, so it occurs at an instant. So that particular instant is what? T is equals to -1. So I'll only take with respect to t equals to -1. In that case, I'll get e exponent what? Minus minus will become positive. E exponent what? J omega. And then if you take for this one also, Fourier transform for what? Delta of what? T minus what? 1. Okay, it's just similar. It's just similar. So in that case, you're going to have e exponent what? The integration doesn't come into play here because it's an impulse signal. It occurs at a specific what? Point. It doesn't occur at an interval for us to integrate. So e minus what? J omega. And then here, t is what? -1. That means that it occurs at what? T equals to 1. Okay, so here I'll put 1 here, which will give me e exponent minus j what? Omega. Okay, so because signal occurs at what? T equals to what? 1. Okay, so if you put these two together, and then you want to find the Fourier transform for what? Delta plus t plus 1 into plus delta into t minus what? 1. Okay, then you're going to get what? E exponent j omega, okay, plus e exponent minus what? Minus j what? Omega. Okay, this is what you're going to have. So now, if you want to do the cos expansion for this one, then in that case, with respect to the cos expansion, you are going to have cos omega, okay, plus j sine omega, okay, plus cos what? Omega, minus j sine what? Omega. So this and this will cancel each other, and we're going to have what? 2 cos what? Omega, which will be our answer. Alright, which will be our answer. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, which is what? II. Okay, so let's go to II. Okay, so let's go to II. II is actually very similar to what we just did. Okay, yeah, very similar, and basically it's the same approach we're going to use. So III. Okay. Alright, so III. So III. So I need a Fourier transform for what? For delta of what? T plus 2. Okay. And then I need plus what? Delta of what? T plus 1. Plus delta of what? T minus 1. Okay. Plus delta of what? T minus 2. So I need a Fourier transform for this. Okay, to get a Fourier transform for this one, it's just the same. So if I want t plus what? 2. Okay, let's say I need a Fourier transform for this one. Okay, basically this signal exists at t equals to what? -2. And it's an impulse signal. So that means that this one does not actually what? Come into what? Play. So because it exists at what? -2, I'll bring what? -2 here. So this one, this integral doesn't come to play because it's an impulse signal. It's not within an interval. So here, I'm just going to have e exponent what? I'll ignore the integration and then the interval. Okay, the minus infinity and infinity, I'll ignore them. So here, I'm just going to have minus minus will be positive. So e j what? Omega. That's what I'm going to have. Okay, but here what? 2. Okay, so minus minus will be positive, and j omega what 2, which basically is what? Which basically is e j2 omega. Okay, which is actually is equals to this. All right, which actually is equals to this. Okay, so now the same thing will apply to the rest of the expressions in this one. So my Fourier transform therefore is going to be e j2 omega, okay, plus e j omega plus e minus, okay, j omega plus e minus j2 omega. Okay, so that's what I'm going to get. Okay, so when I get this one, then I can just expand it. So here I'm going to have cos 2 omega plus sine, okay, j sine 2 omega plus cos omega plus j sine omega, okay, plus cos omega, okay, okay, minus j sine omega, okay, plus cos 2 omega minus j sine 2 omega. Okay, so these are what I will get. Okay, these are what I will get. So now when I have this one, then what I can say is that basically this guy and this guy and this guy, they are opposite. Okay, so they will cancel. Okay, this guy and this guy, they are opposite, so they will cancel. Okay, so I'll be left with what? I'll be left with cos 2 omega, okay, plus cos 2 omega plus cos omega plus cos what? Omega. Okay, so I'll be left with what? 2 cos 2 omega plus 2 cos omega. So I'll be left with 2 out, cos 2 omega plus cos omega. Okay, here is cos. Okay, all right, so this is what I'm going to have. Okay, this one is 2 cos omega. All right, so that's the third answer. That's the answer to the third part. Now let's go to the next part. Okay, so the next part, let me put this one here. So the next part, we're going to find this one. We're going to find for the next question. Okay, so that'll be question number 4. Okay, so question number 4. Question number 4 is IV. X of what? T is equals to E minus T mod. Okay, so Fourier transform of E minus T mod. Okay, Fourier transform of this one. So what will be the Fourier transform for this one? It's going to be integral minus infinity to what? Infinity. Okay, minus infinity to infinity. And then we're going to have E exponent minus T mod, okay, mod, okay, into E exponent minus what? J omega what? T dt. This is actually the same as what? Minus what? Infinity, and then here is what? Infinity. X of what? X of what? T into what? E minus what? J omega what? T d what? dt. Here our x of t is what? E exponent minus mod what? T. Okay, so that is how it is like. So now here the most important thing is that we should be able to realize our curve, our graph, okay, to help us further. When the exponent is mod, that means that we must take the positive and the negative aspect. It has a positive aspect and a negative aspect. So if we're drawing the curve in this manner, then here is going to be like this. Here is t, and then here is x of what? T, which is equals to e exponent minus mod what? T. Okay, so the highest amplitude here will be 1. Okay, so that means that part of the curve will be like this. Okay, close to the zero, to the x-axis, but it will not touch it. Okay, minus infinity, and the other part will be like this. Okay, close, but it will not touch. Okay, positive infinity. Okay, so here this part is greater than what? 0. So this is the positive part. T is greater than what? 0. Okay, and this part, the graph is like this. And this part is what? T is less than what? 0. And this part, the graph is what? Like this. Okay, so now that means that I'm going to actually have my Fourier transform to be minus infinity. Here is 0 to what? 0. And it will be what? E of what? T into e minus j omega what? T. Okay, plus here 0 to what? Infinity. And it will be e minus what? T into e minus j omega what? T. Okay, so these ones will be equals to minus infinity to what? 0. Okay, it will be e exponent, I can have 1 minus what? J omega, okay, t, okay, dt, okay, plus here, okay, plus here, I can have e is what? 0 to what? Infinity. I can have e, okay, minus 1 plus j omega into what? T, dt. Okay, so these are what I can have. Okay, these are what I can have. So when I have this one, then I can just simplify to get 1 over 1 minus what? J omega. 1 minus j omega into what? E exponent what? 1 minus what? J omega. Okay, into t. And the limits here are minus infinity and 0 plus what? 1 minus 1, okay, over 1 plus what? J omega into e exponent what? Minus 1 plus j omega, okay, into what? T. And the limits here are what? 0 and then what? Infinity. Okay, so that will be the limits there. Okay, so now what I can do again is that I can just let's see. Okay, I can just introduce my limits. Okay, so if I'm going to introduce my limit into this one, then I'm going to have, it's going to be 1 over what? 1 minus what? J omega into what? Into e exponent what? 0 minus e exponent minus what? Infinity. Okay, minus 1 over what? 1 minus plus j omega into what? Into e exponent what? Minus infinity. If you put infinity here, here is negative, so it will become a minus infinity. Okay, minus e exponent what? 0. Okay, so this one, what I'll get is that I'll get 1 over 1 minus what? J omega into what? 1, my e exponent minus infinity is 0, so 1 minus 0. Okay, and then I'll get here 1 over 1, here negative positive is negative, so 1 plus what? J omega into what? E exponent minus infinity is what? 0 minus what? 1. Okay, so now here I'm going to get 1 over 1 minus J omega, okay, because here is 1, and then here negative negative positive plus 1 over 1 plus j what? Omega. Okay, so if I add this one, if I add this one, this plus this will be 1. This time this, it will be 1. This time this, positive. This time this, negative. They will cancel each other. This time this, it will be what? Plus omega squared. So, and this, I'll get 2. So, I'm going to have 2 on 1 plus omega what? Squared. So, that will be the what? That will be the answer, okay, for this aspect, okay. Now, let's go to the next aspect, okay. So, for the next aspect, I'm going to actually have the next aspect. I'm going to actually deal with the last aspect of the problem. Okay, I'm going to deal with the last aspect of the problem. So let's see that particular question and then realize its solution very sharply. It's going to be a very quick one. Okay, it's going to be a very quick one. So please let me see where I can find that one. Okay, so let's just get into it. Okay, so this is what we actually have. So here we have v, okay, and I have this function, okay, here is t, and then I have this one, here is x of what? T, and then I have this one. Okay, here is 0, here is 1, here is 2, here is 1, here is 2, minus. Okay, so this is what I have. Okay, this is what I have. Okay, so now, to be able to realize the Fourier transform for this particular function, what happens is that we have to break the function into various components, okay? We have to break the function into various components. Okay, so we're going to actually do that, okay? So this is how I will tackle it. So here, I'm going to just Fourier transform for this one, okay? So the Fourier transform for this one. So let me say Fourier transform for x of what? T. All right, so the Fourier transform for x of t is going to be equals to, here, I'm going to have let's say I'm going to have this a function, okay, is from -2, let's say -2 to 2, okay, and it's x of what? T, okay, and it's what? E exponent minus j omega t d what? dt, okay, but actually you see that it is steps from here to here to here. Okay, it's one area. Then here to here is one area. Here to here is one area. Here to here is another area. So I have to break them, okay, into what? 1, 2, 3, and then what? 4. So I'm going to break them into what? These 4 what? Areas, okay. So now to break them into these 4 areas, this is what I will do. This is how I will do it. I'll have -2 to -1. Okay, and then at that place, what will be my function there? My x of t there. My x of t there is what? 1. Because, please, here, this place is 2, and then this place is what? 1. Alright? Okay. So now that means that this place is what? 1. So I'll just have what? 1 into what? E, x of t there is 1. So it's 1. So e exponent minus j omega what? T. Okay. Plus the next aspect, which is what? -1 to what? 0, which is going to be what? Here, x of t here is 2. So 2e minus j omega what? T plus what? The next aspect, which is what? 0 to what? 1. Okay, it's going to be 0 to 1. So 0 to 1 is going to be what? 2 exponent minus j omega t, okay, omega t, okay, plus the next aspect, which is 1 to what? 2, which is what? Here is 1. So 1 e exponent minus j omega t. Okay, so that is how we're going to do it. Okay, so now here I can have -2 minus 1 and e minus j omega t dt. Okay, plus what? -1 and 0, and then I'll have what? 2 e exponent minus j omega what? t dt plus what? 0 and then 1. And then I'll have what? 2. So e exponent minus j what? T dt. And then I'll have plus what? Here is 1. So 1 will remain as, will not change anything. E exponent minus j omega t d what? dt. Okay, so this is what I'm going to have. Okay, this is what I'm going to have. Okay, so now from here, I can just go straight ahead and do my integration. Okay, and do my integration. So if I do the integration, then in that case, what I'm going to have is going to be like this. I'm going to have minus 1 on j omega e exponent minus j omega t. Okay, here, okay, it's what? Minus 2 minus 1 plus, okay, the next one, which is going to be what? 2 minus 2, okay, it's going to minus 2 over what? Omega j into what? E exponent minus j omega t. Okay, so like this. Okay, so here is minus 1 and 0. So plus the next one. Okay, it's going to be what? Minus 2 over what? J omega. Okay, and it's going to be what? E exponent minus j omega t. Okay, and then that place is going to be what? 0, 1. And the next one is going to be what? Minus 1 over what? J omega into E exponent minus J omega omega t. And then it's going to be what? 1 and then what? 2. Okay, so these are the things that I'm going to have from this stage. Okay, so we just move on. We just move on from there. So now moving on from there, what I'm going to have is I'm going to have the introduction of the limits. Okay, so if I should introduce the limits, then I'm going to have, okay, I'm going to have here the upper limits first. Okay, the upper limits first. So if I introduce the upper limits, I'll have minus 1, okay, let me say minus 1 into minus 1 on j omega, okay, into E exponent what? Minus j omega what? Omega minus 1 here. Okay, and then I'm going to have minus again. Okay, minus again. So it will be what? Plus. Because it will be minus minus, so it will be plus. So it will be what? 1 over what? J omega. Okay, into E exponent minus j omega. Here will be what? Minus 2. Okay, so let me close this one. Let me close this one. Then let me come to the next one. So the next one is going to be what? The next one is going to be E is going to be 2 is the upper limit first. Okay, so I'm going to have minus 2 over what? J omega, and then I'm going to have E, okay, E exponent here is going to be 0, so it's going to be E exponent 0. Okay, then here is going to be what? Here is going to be it's going to be minus minus. Okay, so it will be plus, so it will be 2 exponent what? J omega, 2 exponent j omega into what? E exponent what? Minus j omega what? And then I'll put what? And then I will put my minus 1 inside. Okay, put my minus 1 here. Okay, all right, then like that. Okay, so now the next one is going to be here. Okay, so I'm going to have minus 2 over what? J omega into what? E exponent what? Minus j omega, and then I'm going to have 1. Okay, and then the next aspect of it, I'm going to have here is going to be minus minus. Okay, it's going to be minus minus. Okay, so it will be positive. So it could be what? 2 over what? J omega into E exponent what? 0. Okay, into E exponent what? 0. Okay, so now the next one is going to be plus here minus 1 over what? J omega into what? Into E minus J omega 2, okay, minus 1 over what? J omega into what? E minus what? J omega what? 1. Okay, so these are the terms that I'm going to have. Okay, so these are the terms that I'm going to have. Okay, so now let's just do a quick glance if we have done the right things. Okay, here, minus 1. Okay, it's going to be what? Minus, so it will be plus. Okay, so here, all right. So here, let's see, it's going to be, okay, so minus, so it will be plus. Okay, all right, minus, okay, that's correct. Okay, so here it's gonna be, okay, this one, okay, here it's gonna be minus, so it will be plus. Okay, here it's going to be here okay, this one is going to be, okay, it's going to be like this. Okay, and then it's going to be minus, okay, it's going to be minus, it's going to be minus, okay, so it will be what? Plus. All right, so here, from here, let's just move on straight ahead. Okay, so from here, what we can actually do is that we can just note from our limits here. So here, I'm going to have minus, or minus here, J omega into E exponent what? E exponent J omega. Okay, plus, okay, plus what? Plus this one, 1 over what? J omega. Okay, E exponent what? 2 omega. Okay, 2 omega. Then I'll come to this one. Okay, this one, which is going to give me minus 2, because here is, because E exponent 0 is 1, minus 2 over what? J omega. Okay, then I'll come to this one. Okay, then I'll come to this one. Okay, so what is this one going to give me? It will give me plus 2 over what? J omega into E exponent what? J what? Omega. Okay, then I'll come here. What is it going to give me? That one will give me minus, okay, 2 over J omega into E exponent minus J what? Omega. Okay, and then I'll come to this one. It will give me 2 on what? J omega, because here E exponent 0 is 1. Okay, then I will come to this one. If I come here, I'm going to get negative 1 over what? Negative 1 over what? J omega. E exponent minus J2 omega. And then plus, okay, plus, okay, 1 over what? J omega into E exponent what? Minus J what? Omega. Okay, so these are the expressions that I'm actually going to have. So now from here, what I can say is that this guy and this guy, they are opposite. This guy and this guy, they are opposite. So this guy will cancel this guy. Okay, so they will cancel each other. And then another thing is that this guy, and then this guy and this guy. And then they are not opposite. They are the same though. They are except for the angle here. So we can simplify them together. We can group them into the same like terms. Okay, this guy and also this guy. And then this guy, and then this guy. Okay, so what are we going to have? Okay, so we are going to have minus is equals to minus 1 on what? J omega. Minus 1 on J omega is going to be equals to E exponent J omega. Okay, then you come here. If you come here, it will be what? Minus, because of this minus. So E exponent J2 omega. Okay, and then you come to this place. If you come to this place, what happens is that it has to be plus because of this minus. So it has to be plus here. Okay, so plus e exponent minus j to 2 omega. Okay, then you come here. If you come here, it has to be minus, because here is minus, here is plus, so it has to be minus. So minus e exponent what? Minus j what? Omega. Okay, so that is what you get here. Then let's come here. Okay, if we come here, we can bring the minus 2 on what? J omega out. Then if we bring that one out, then this guy here will become positive. Okay, that guy will become positive. So we will have e minus j omega. This guy will become positive. Then this guy will become negative. Okay, so that if you multiply negative, you get a positive. Okay, e exponent what? J what? Omega. So that's how we can actually do it. Okay, all right. So that's how we can do it. All right. So now from here, what we can do is we can just have to continue it. Okay, so we just have to continue it. So now continuing it, we have to expand it in terms of cosines, okay, cos and sine. Okay, so if we're going to make it in terms of cos and sine, then I'm going to have 1 over j omega. Here is minus. Okay, so here I'm going to have what? Cos omega plus j sine omega. Okay, minus cos 2 omega. Okay, let me bring the sheet so that you can be able to follow what I am doing correctly. Okay. Okay, so now here, this one, if you are expanding e j omega, it will give you cos omega plus j sine omega. Okay, if you are expanding this one, e j2 omega, it will give you cos 2 omega minus, it will give you cos 2 omega plus j sine 2 omega. But because of this minus here, the cos will become what? Negative. And the sine will also become what? Negative. Okay, so here I will have minus j sine 2 what? Omega. Okay, that's what I'll have. Okay, then I'll come to the next one. Which is the next one? This one. Okay, if you're expanding that one, you have what? Cos 2 omega plus j sine 2 omega. Okay, so I'll have plus cos 2 omega plus j sine 2 omega. Okay, all right. Then I'll come to this one. If you are expanding this one, you're going to have cos omega minus j sine omega because of this minus. But this minus also affect it. Okay, so because of this, because of this minus, which is going to affect it, I'm going to have this one. I'm going to have okay, I'm going to have minus cos omega. Okay, then it will be plus j sine omega. Okay, so that will be for this one. Then if you come here, it will be cos omega minus j sine omega, then cos omega plus j sine omega, but this minus will affect it. Okay, so here then I'll have the minus, it's not plus, it's minus because you see that it's minus here. Okay, it's minus here. So minus 2 on what? J omega into what? Into cos omega minus j sine omega. Okay, minus cos omega minus j sine omega. Okay, so this is what we are actually going to have with the expansion. Okay, so now we can just look through. you see that this guy here, okay, this guy here and this guy, okay, this guy here, you see that he's negative because of the negative sign here. He is negative. So this guy and this guy, they are opposite because this guy is negative because of this negative sign here. So this guy and this guy, they will cancel. Now this guy and this guy, they are opposite. They are opposite. Just as this guy and this guy were opposite. Because this guy, why am I saying it's opposite? Because it's negative. It's negative cos what? Omega. Here is positive cos what? Omega. So positive cos omega and negative cos omega, they will cancel. And here you have negative cos 2 omega and positive cos 2 omega. They will also cancel. Okay. Then what are you left with? You are left with minus 1 on what? J omega into what? 2. You have 2j sine. You see this guy and this guy. No, this guy and this guy. Okay. This guy and this guy. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me check over here. Okay. This guy. There is no 2 here. We just made a mistake. It's j sine omega. It's j sine omega because we were expatiating what? We were expatiating this one. Okay. And then this one, it will become cos omega minus j sine omega. And this negative will make the cos what? Negative. But it will make the sign what? Positive. So please, this place is j sine what? Omega. Okay, it's j sine omega. So now I will have what? 2j sine what? Omega. And then here, and then here also, okay, here also, let me check. Okay, so here what I can see here is that let me check. Okay, so where am I getting this one from? I'm getting this one from here. Okay, that is correct. And then this one, I'm getting it from here. Okay, so here I'm supposed to, this one, I'm getting it from here. Okay, that is correct. And then this one, I'm getting it from here. Okay, and if you expand, oh, sorry, if you are not seeing, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I'm getting this one from here, which is correct. And this one, I'm getting it from here. If you should expand this one, you get cos 2 omega plus j sine 2 omega. Okay, but what happens is that your j and then your cos. Okay, your j and your cos. Let's look at them. Your j and then your cos. What's actually going to happen to them? Let's see. Okay, so please let's consider this one. Okay, this one. You see that basically this one, where am I getting this one from? Okay, I'm getting this one from here, and here is supposed to be what? Cos 2 omega minus j sine 2 omega. Okay, so please, this place is supposed to be what? Minus j sine 2 what? Omega. So what I will have is that here and here, it will give me minus j sine 2 omega. Okay, and then if I should consider here and here, see that they are opposite, positive, negative, so they will cancel. So I'll have minus 2 on what? J omega into what? Minus 2j sine omega. Okay, so now if I should multiply through, then I'm going to have this will cancel this one. So I'll have minus 2 on what? Omega sine omega. Okay. Then I'm also going to have, if this one should multiply, this one should multiply this one. Okay. I'm going to have this one will cancel this one. Okay. So I'll have plus 1 over what? plus 1 over omega. Okay, I'll have plus 1 over omega. Is it? Will I really have that? Okay, so if you come here, what you can see is that this place, okay, this is minus j sine 2 omega, minus j sine 2 omega. So it will give us minus 2j sine 2 omega. Okay, so here in that case, I will have 2. Okay, I will have 2. So I will have 2. I'll have 2. And j will cancel j. So 2 on what? Omega. Sine what? 2 omega. Okay, and then here I'll have minus 2 on what? Minus 2 on what? Omega. But negative will be what? Positive, which will be what? Plus. And then this time this will be what? 4. So it will be 4. And then I'll have sine what? Omega. Okay, and then I'll have sine omega. So now here, what I can do again is that, you see that this one and this one, okay, this one is what? 1, this one is 4, this one is 2. So it will be what? Positive 2. So basically, I'm going to have 2 sine 2 omega plus, okay, here is omega, okay, into 2, okay, 2 over omega, okay. So this one is this, okay, and this will also be 2 over omega on sine what? Into sine omega, okay. So at the end, the Fourier transform of the x of this particular term is going to be what? 2 on what? Omega, okay, sine 2 omega plus sine omega. This will be the end of this question. Thank you so much. See you in the next